This is the Bible. This is the mouse. This is Bible study with the mouse.
Shalom, my friends, and welcome to Bible Study with the Mouse. Because I'm driving, my good friend here, if he is willing, will be helping me with texts. In the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 7, let me just actually start off by saying, we're going to be talking about this little guy right here. His name is Alphaeus, and he's the father of one of the apostles. Some of you may be familiar with his name, but can you position him on camera somewhere? There we go. Thank you. Somehow. Anyway, that little guy I picked up back in Philadelphia when we were doing call porter work. I was going to school there. Raphael actually and I met in Philadelphia, and I found this little dinosaur on the street that we lived on, and I picked him up and did not seem to have any father or mother or any caretaker, so I took him up and adopted him, named him Alphaeus, and after one of the apostles' fathers. And these birds are just in the road here. But he has ever since then been an Ebenezer to me. And what the word Ebenezer means is actually two Hebrew words. The first word is Eben. The second word is Haezer, if I pronounce it right. In English, they translate it as just one word, Ebenezer. So in 1 Samuel chapter 7, verse 12, if you could read that for me, it would give us some insight as to what this Ebenezer is.
Then Samuel took a stone, and he set it between Mizpeh and Shen, and called the name of it Ebenezer, saying, Hitherto hath the Lord helped us.
Yes. So hitherto hath the Lord helped us. And if you, just a moment, driving. If you could show this on camera,
Yes.
for me. That Hebrew word there is the word Eben, and then the word next to it is Haezer. And you see the verse reference, and then you also will see, hitherto hath the Lord helped us. And this here is what I like to call my Ebenezer. I actually even named this truck Ebenezer. So I have this, we are driving in Ebenezer with an Ebenezer and another Ebenezer. And the
There's
reason,
a lot of Ebenezers.
yes, the reason I call them all Ebenezers is because they are all my stones of help. And a stone is a permanent, symbolically, permanent fixture that reminds us of the mightiness of God. That reminds us, important in this case, it is a stone of help. So it is a stone that permanently reminds us of how the Lord has helped us in the past. And these three objects, this vehicle and the miracles he has worked in that way, that bottle is not particularly special, but I chose that to write that word on that Bible so I would constantly be reminded each time I would drink that hitherto hath the Lord helped us. If you're going to another text, you may go ahead, but if not, or perhaps after you share that text, I would like to read the context of 1 Samuel chapter 7, because it is really compelling as to why the prophet Samuel here would feel compelled in such a way to make this stone, to rise it up and call it the stone of help, to call it Ebenezer.
Well, I have this verse that I wanted to share, and it's found in Deuteronomy. It's Deuteronomy 8, verse 2, and it says, And thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy God had led thee these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble thee, to prove thee, to know what was in thine heart, whether thou wouldst keepest his commandments or no. And I share this verse because it's a reminder. Ebenezers are reminders of where God has led us. The 10 Commandments are the biggest reminders or Ebenezers that we have to remind us of how God has saved us from the bondage of the Egyptian slavery if you were the children of Israel. And I think Michael has something to share to add on top of that. Let me go see back to 1 Samuel, verse 7 and 12. Alright, go ahead.
Well,
We just arrived, so the camera's gonna be moving right now. Versatile.
well, since I have my Bible now, I shall turn. I invite you to turn also to 1 Samuel chapter 7. So you see in 1 Samuel chapter 7, this is during war times with Israel and the Philistines. And you can see that in chapter 7, there is just a, let me see. Let's just start in verse 7. And when the Philistines heard that the children of Israel were gathered together to Mizpah, the lords of the Philistines went up against Israel. And when the children of Israel heard it, they were afraid of the Philistines. So the children of Israel were fearful. They go up to Samuel and say, "Cease not to cry unto the Lord our God for us, that he will save us out of the hand of the Philistines." And Samuel took a suckling lamb, and he offered it for a burnt offering holy unto the Lord. And Samuel cried unto the Lord of Israel, Lord for Israel, and the Lord heard him. And as Samuel was offering up the burnt offering, the Philistines drew near to battle against Israel, but the Lord thundered up a great thunder. He caused a storm to come upon the Philistines, a thunderous storm. He thundered with a great thunder on that day upon the Philistines, and discomfited them, and they were smitten before Israel. And the men of Israel went out of Mizpah, and pursued the Philistines, and smote them, until they came unto Bethkar. Then here's the verse we read. Then Samuel took a stone, and set it between Mizpah and Shen, and called the name of it Ebenezer, saying, Hitherto hath the Lord helped us. So it is the power of that text, the power of this Bible here, and the Lord that has continually helped us, that has caused me to write this word upon my bottle, to write, Hitherto hath the Lord helped us, and to write 1 Samuel 7:12 right there. It has been a great blessing to me, and I pray that this may change the way you look at Ebenezer and the word. It is somewhat common in our culture because of Ebenezer Scrooge and things like that, but have you ever considered what that word means? What is an Ebenezer? But now you know that the word Ebenezer means
Here the Lord help us.
Means Eben Haezer, the stone of help. So this has been the Bible.
Well, before we close, I just wanted to share this.
Oh.
I thank you, Michael, for your very well planned out, not planned, but well put out commentary on that chapter. And so now my question to you guys is, do you guys have an Ebenezer? If you do, or if you don't, I'm pretty sure you do because you're alive. Look back on all the things that God has done for you in the past. Make these an Ebenezer and raise them up to Him because He deserves it. And this is the reminder that God has led you, that you're not who you once were. And now, as He continues to try